Infinite Crisis ist ein MOBA auf Basis des DC-Universums und wir sind hier beim Launch-Event und ich habe mir direkt mal einen Game Director geschnappt. So, could you, for our viewers, explain how that's going to work with the 52 worlds? What's the background of Infinite Crisis, the comic background?
Sure. So it's based on the DC universe to begin with. So obviously Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, all the characters you know, but also all the various. Ultimately, I'm not sure if we'll get to all 52 worlds, but maybe we will. That's a lot of worlds. So we're focused on right now, starting with the first 6 worlds, which is basically atomic, post-apocalyptic kind of world, arcane, which is like knights and shining armor kind of thing, a mecha world, a Gotham by Gaslight world, which is like a steampunk world. So we wanted to start with those basic worlds, and that's where some of our characters come from. Like behind me here, you can see we've got Wonder Woman, but we also have a mecha Wonder Woman from sort of the mecha world, and then we have Atomic Wonder Woman, who is this kind of post-apocalyptic. Atomic Wonder Woman, the backstory for this is, we all know how Superman came to Earth, right? But for the Atomic universe, Superman still comes to Earth, crashes into Kansas. Unfortunately, it's during the Cold War, and it starts World War III, and then there's a nuclear apocalypse, and so the whole Earth is destroyed, basically, and that's where she's from. And so there's going to be other characters from that world as well.
How much characters is that all in all?
Oh boy, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds by the time we're done, but we're not quite there yet.
Okay, you start with how many?
Well, right now there's 15 characters in game. We're in closed beta, and we're continually adding characters. Like we just added Atomic Wonder Woman today, and so over time, as many as a couple characters a month will be added. So as quickly as we can, we'll have hundreds of characters in the game.
Okay, with comic IPs, I always wonder, how do you balance that? How do you balance a Wonder Woman versus a Joker?
Well, part of the beauty of the multiverse is that we can play around a little bit with the skill sets, right? So Superman, for example, Superman's tough because Superman does what Superman does and nothing can harm him ever. But if you have Red Sun Superman, or if you have a different Superman, say Superman from the Phantom Zone, he's going to have a different skill set, different way of doing things, different strengths, different weaknesses, and that helps us balance. We also take the characters, because it's the multiverse, and we kind of pull them apart. DC characters are great because they have different levels. So Batman, for example, the Batman we know he's a gadget kind of guy. He has all his fancy gadgets and tool belts and stuff that he uses, but he's also sort of the ultimate sort of vengeance from the darkness, right? So we can pull those apart. We can take Nightmare Batman and really take that vicious darkness part of Batman and push it to the extreme. And take the sort of gadget, tool belt, science, kind of guy, and push that to the other extreme, and that becomes like our steampunk, Gotham by Gaslight. And in that way, it's easier to balance because we haven't taken every single possible, power and skill that they have, combined it all into one. We focus it around a certain specific role in the actual MOBA. So I'm either I'm an assassin, or I'm a tank, or I'm a bruiser. So it makes it easier to balance. But balance is a challenge in any MOBA, so it's no different for us.
How much freedom do you have with creating these characters like Atomic Wonder Woman? Is DC kind of looking over everything you do, or can you go wild?
Well, first of all, DC is pretty broad to begin with, so it gives us a lot of opportunity to try crazy things, but they've been great. We've been working with them hand in hand, and they were excited about sort of Infinite Crisis and bringing the Elseworlds to a broader audience now, so they've given us a lot of leeway, but they're definitely involved in the process. But so far, they've been really excited about the things that we've been coming up with. A lot of the characters that we're doing, they built, they created in the first place, but in some cases, like Atomic Wonder Woman, we're able to sort of paint a picture for them of, hey, what if this happened? And I remember there was this one issue of a comic where this happened. What if we turn that into a whole world? And what if Wonder Woman was actually like this? And they're like, oh, that's really cool, let's do that.
Okay, so you can kind of build your own 52 universes.
Maybe not 52, but they definitely have given us an opportunity to flesh some things out. So there's definitely characters from worlds that are outside the 52 universes. But we try to stay as much as we possibly can within the fiction that already exists. But what we're not doing is trying to follow exactly the storyline from Infinite Crisis, because that was very sort of narrow and focused, back then at that time. We want more freedom than that.
Okay, so what's your story that brings the people all together fighting in arenas?
Yeah, well, so it's a MOBA, so there's only so much story. But the basic idea is that something really terrible has happened, that there's been this sort of multiversal apocalypse that's happened, and the protectors who were there to protect the various Earths one that was not destroyed in an ancient war that happened a long, long time ago, which is actually part of the fiction. We're basically saying he has returned to protect Earth because some very bad thing, person, creature, villain, whatever, master villain, has threatened to shatter all the universes and put the whole universe into chaos. And so the heroes and villains have come together to sort of stop him or her or them and put it back together again before they go back to fighting each other. So that's the basic idea. One really, really bad thing that everybody has to fight against. And so they're all fighting in these arenas, these competitions, to figure out what's the best possible team of superheroes and villains to go out and defeat this bad evil.
Okay. Considering the MOBA gameplay, had you to tweak it a little bit? Most MOBAs are fantasy with the creeps and the towers, and what's it going to be like in your MOBA?
Well, it depends. So we have 2 maps right now. The map that we just started announcing today that's in our beta that actually we're playing competitively here at Gamescom is called Coast City. It's a 2-lane map, but it's a 5-on-5. So it's very familiar to players in terms of pushing down 2 lanes, turrets protecting the lanes. There's a core at the end that you need to destroy to win the game, but there's a giant jungle, which is how, otherwise it would seem odd to have 5 versus 5 playing in a 2-lane map. It seems like too many people for that kind of map, but there's so much going on in the jungle and with the destruction that it's a sort of a familiar but unique experience. One of the things that we did because of the superheroes is create all this destruction. Coast City is an opportunity to kind of take that to the next level. So in addition to being able to pick up cars and throw them at people and pick up tanks and knock down walls with it, there's a doomsday device in the middle of the map.
Okay.
So it's a big, giant space cannon. And every once in a while, it becomes available for a team fight. Team fights over it, and whoever wins gets basically this firing mechanism, firing pin, and you can fire this beam, this laser beam, anywhere on the map for the most part. You can't destroy the cores with it, but you can use that as part of your strategy. Destroy a turret, force a team fight in a particular area, and then it goes neutral, and then everybody team fights over it again. So it's a really kind of unique dynamic, along with some other things that we've done to give you more opportunities to tweak your strategy as a team, and also it just creates a lot more team fighting. It's a game mechanic where you're playing a MOBA the way you're used to, you're building your strategy, the early game kind of gets more complex as you go on, but there's always these opportunities at intervals to kind of turn the tides, and even though you're losing, there's always a chance that you could turn things around with a doomsday device. And then we're not talking about it in great detail, but we're also working on a traditional map, tri-lane map, which of course players expect, and we're going to be talking more about that soon, but it's something we're also excited about.
Okay, what's your timetable like? You are starting now with the closed beta, and when can we expect an open beta and so on?
Yeah, so we're in closed beta now. Obviously, and everybody says this, we want to take whatever time it takes to make the game great, but the intention is to be in open beta sometime this year, maybe later this year. But we're building and building, bringing more players in. Every month we bring in more people, let in more people to beta. Gamescom was a great opportunity for us to, kind of show the game to a lot more people. We have servers local here now in Europe, so that makes things a lot better for the audience here. So sometime later this year we go into open beta and then see how things go. Our intention is to start our first official season next year.
Okay. Can you tell me something about the payment model? What do we get from the game?
Yeah, so it's a free-to-play game. It's a lot like people expect. You will always be able to play this game for free. You will always be able to play competitively for free. We want to make sure that you don't have to buy characters or buy things to play competitively, but we will have a rotation of available characters. We will have costumes, which is what we call skins, more and more available. Those will be available for purchase in the store. We're going to have boosts, a lot of the things that players are familiar with, but hopefully in a balance that makes sense to players. It feels like there's enough there for I can really play this game, play for free, experience it, have a great time, but if I really want to dive deep, there's an opportunity for me to do that as well.
Okay, and last question, your personal favorite character?
Honestly, Atomic Wonder Woman, who we launched today. I love Atomic Wonder Woman for lots of reasons, but she's cool. The fiction behind her is really, really cool. As a character, she's just the ultimate 100% assassin. If you've seen any of the gameplay yet, but she's 100% killer, but at a cost. She has very little health, so she has to be very specific about the way she goes in and starts a fight and then gets out and let her team clean up. So she's a lot of fun. I love her.
And she's got a chainsaw of justice, which is just damn cool.
Yeah, exactly. Who wouldn't want to walk around with a giant stop sign with a chainsaw strapped to the top of it?
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a great Gamescom.
Thanks, you too.